Hello again guys, Matt,
David,
and Ali here.
and thank you to all of you for choosing to get your gaming news here at LiveWire. In today's video guys, we are talking about our 5 top concerns about For Honor.
now don't let those dislikes flood in too fast. We aren't saying For Honor will be a bad game, we are actually really excited for the game, but these are just some concerns that we have and they could even be fixed before release, and if they were to be fixed this game would be even better.
Remember to comment your thoughts below, we love hearing your ideas, so tell us what your main concerns are for the game and if you agree or disagree with our concerns.
Number 1. So kicking it off, and one of our main concerns that we have is that the game welcomes a lot of microtransactions, which would usually be fine. If someone wants to spend their money on cosmetic items, then that is their prerogative. The problem comes with the system that is in-game, where players loot in-game currency that you spend on classes, cosmetics, and item upgrades. So that means if Ubisoft were to make a system where you can buy this currency, players could use it to upgrade their weaponry, and get an advantage over other players who don't pay to get more in-game currency. This would certainly make the game more pay to win and create sort of like a power vacuum amongst its players, and that isn't to my liking, and Ubisoft should definitely avoid it.
Number 2.
Right, so another big concern that we have, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have, is more of a nitpick, and it revolves around the inconsistent storytelling. So when we're playing these types of games, we're investing a lot of time into the fantasy and the lore that they're trying to create so that we have a kind of high level of immersion. So with our heroes fighting for different factions in the campaign, you'd expect some faction loyalty moving forward to the online gameplay, which according to developers was actually meant to follow on from the story directly after the campaign finishes. But instead online we have no faction splitting, instead everyone is fighting literally everyone, which makes no sense from a storytelling perspective. I mean, you've got Vikings fighting Vikings, Samurai fighting Samurai, Knights versus Knight. In our opinion, it's just a whole lot of stupid. Obviously we understand the practicality about these things, and queue times getting into games would be kinda higher if you were playing a higher populated faction. You might not even be able to team up with your friends as much, but we would have liked Ubisoft to find a different solution rather than just abandoning all faction loyalty altogether online. I mean, it could work just like any old online game map selection choice. So like whilst you're in your menus waiting for the game to start, everyone in the team has to then pick a side to play for, with the overall vote being the faction that they play as.
Number 3.
Similar to the point about microtransactions is our concern over paid DLC. This game seems to invite a lot of additional downloadable content, which perhaps could include an extended campaign, extra missions, cosmetic items, new classes, new maps, new factions even, and so on and so forth. There's clearly a lot of potential there, and these should be offered to Season Pass holders early, but I would suggest taking the Rainbow Six Siege mold and allowing players to still access additional content for free, especially since players will be spending a hefty £50 at the very least on the game to begin with. Now I do think cosmetic items are fine and should perhaps be paid for at your own personal preference, also like Siege, but new content like maps, classes, and factions should definitely come free, or at least be obtainable within reason without having to pay money. And I'm afraid that they may just go overboard on additional paid DLC.
Number 4.
One of our biggest complaints about this game in its current state is the lack of game modes online, and this can create a very stale environment quickly in a multiplayer focused game. As it stands then, we only have a select amount of game modes, which are mostly a variable on deathmatch, be it 1v1, 2v2 or 4v4, with the focus being on Dominion mode for multiplayer. But this mode will get old very fast if it's all that we are playing online, and we'd certainly like more variety in our game types moving forward. We've actually done a video guys in our For Honor news playlist, which goes into more detail about all the game modes that are in game, and we've got some great ideas in there that we think would make the game a lot better. An example of that would be Siege mode.
Number 5.
Finally, a big complaint, especially from the Reddit community, and something that annoys us here too, is the overcomplicated user interface. Ubisoft, we think you're trying just a little bit too hard here, and it's leaving our screens really cluttered. As it stands, we think the user interface needs to change. When I'm getting healed, I do not need a billion plus signs lighting up my screen to tell me I'm being healed to the point where I can hardly see. The abilities seem to have far too much extra animation to them that ruins the authenticity of the fighting style, with added exclamation marks and lightning bolts indicating investigating every detail of the fight. I'm not saying they're not helpful, but it certainly ruins the feel of the game, and there's a lot of better ways to do it. In our opinion, a simplistic, clean user interface is the best kind of user interface. There's a lot more examples we could give about the user interface, but we're not going to turn this into a rant, and I'm sure if you've seen the UI, you'll understand the frustration we have with it as well.
But honestly guys, this is a game that we are very excited for, and it's alpha testing time, so look out for our alpha testing coverage of the game on the channel. This will include live streams, first takes, breakdown videos and much more, so make sure you join us for that. Remember to hit that like button if you wish to support our coverage of For Honor.
You can click on our faces on screen to get to know us better,
Or click here for our full series of For Honor news.
Or you can click here for our full coverage on Mass Effect Andromeda.
Links in this video are also provided in the description for all you mobile users out there. Until next time then folks, I have been Matt.
I have been David.
And I have been Ali, and we'll be looking for you on the alpha testing battlefield. See ya!